Hi guys, welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to discuss a bit about masculine's self-worth and the reasons that he stays in karmic situations, codependent connections, and what's the basis of all that, and how he views the new awakened divine feminine, and if there is any delays or obstacles in the union between the two energies. What's one of the major reasons behind it? um, I feel that currently, like I've continually said in my previous videos, that the majority of feminines have detached from the connection, and they have shifted their focus towards their own life, focusing on self-love, focusing on giving to people and activities and goals and aspirations that matter most to them. And because of that, I feel a lot of masculines are feeling abandoned, and their abandonment issues have been triggered. This could work two ways. It could trigger a chasing mode into the masculine, because they might start feeling that the feminine is running from the connection. But I don't feel it's true though. But I feel that's what the masculine feels at the moment, that the feminine is running from the connection or has left the connection, and it could put them into a chase mode. So some of you feminines might receive contact from your masculines, which I'm going to talk about what kind of contact it could be, and how to deal with it. And some other masculines who are more stubborn, more in their egos, and more like they're prideful, and they let the pride and their ego get in the way of their better judgment. They will pull away from the connection. They would just match your energy and pull away in the opposite direction. They might throw themselves into some other shallow connections, or maybe even dig deeper into their karma with the current partner, or with their families, or with their job, to distract themselves from the pain of abandonment that they feel. So let's talk about the major need of a masculine energy. I have mentioned it previously also, that the masculine energy is about it's a yang energy. It's the energy of action. It's the energy of providing, protecting, and taking care, especially when it comes to material support, putting a shelter together, and providing finances and money. And the masculine energy is a backbone of a relationship. And a lot of these masculines, before their awakening, they have been chained to a lot of karma, and that karma has kept them bound, and pretty much, how do I put it? It has ripped them off of their powers, their true powers, their real inner masculine energy, the divine masculine energy that they have within them, their leadership roles, their guider roles. These people are leaders or guides, they're teachers, they are they provide knowledge, and they are also empaths. They have a lot of power in them, but these powers are taken away from them, and by their karmic people in their environment, their choices that they made. Because always remember that the masculine has not always been a victim. Maybe as a child they were a victim of false parenthood, or a wrong type of upbringing, or the old paradigm of teaching and some kind of culture or religion, that maybe they were the target of that or the victim of that. But these people have also made wrong choices in their life, and they also have piled up karma on their own plate by the decisions that they have made and by the choices that they have made. So don't look at them as victims, and don't let them victimize themselves in front of you to make you feel sorry for them, because the only one that should feel sorry about their actions is themselves, and they have to they are old enough, and they should be mature enough to take care of their own wrongdoings and take care of their own karma. So like I said, a healthy masculine energy wants to provide and protect, but because these people have been ripped off of that power, whether they were in abusive relationships with their parents, whether they were in codependent, emotionally manipulative relationships with their partners, or whether they were in a kind of connection that was financially codependent, whether it was with a partner or with parents, they have been bound, and these chains on their arms and legs and on their mind has been keeping them at a low capacity. These people are not running at their highest capacity. It's like plucking off a butterfly's wings. It becomes a worm. It has gone through the transformation. It became a butterfly, but it doesn't have the wings anymore. It can't fly. So it's not a worm, which is like you can't go back to pre-awakening, or you can't go back to the worm state. And it's not a butterfly either, because it doesn't have the wings to fly, or the wings are taped, or the wings are plucked. So and that's the situation that these masculines are in right now. They're awakening to their truth, but at the same time they're stuck in their own situations. And I feel a lot of them are their biggest obstacle right now is it has to do with finances and stability. Because the masculine energy is typically in that it's providing and protecting, but these people have been getting that satisfaction of providing and protecting by providing financially. A lot of them have seen their financial security and their money, their bank accounts, their assets, and their material belongings as a basis for their stability, as a basis for getting what they wanted in their life. They always, whatever they wanted to choose, whether it was a place to live, a partner to marry, or I don't know, a family to keep happy, they always went forward with their pockets. The first thing that they would put on a table was a coin. They have ruled their entire life by their coins, by their finances, by their stability, their financial stability, to the point that it became their identity. But when they so all their life they could either bribe people, they would show off their assets to people, they would date multiple people at the same time. There were a lot of them were womanizers and players, and their outlook, their what you would see on the surface with these people were like a charming person who would talk very nicely and who would look nice and who would have something to offer on the surface, and a lot of women would fall for that, thinking that this person is stable and they have something to offer, but really they used their financial stability as a tool to get attention and to get to seek validation from their environment and to feel better about themselves. Because a lot of these people, like I've said in my previous videos, if you haven't watched them, please do, because I talk about different aspects of or different blockages in the masculine energy. These people have voids in them stemmed in their childhood, with dealing with their parents and not feeling good about themselves. So once they build their financial stability, they use that as a tool to get validation from their environment, to feel good about themselves, to feel that sense of approval that they so much lack, to get that sense of self-worth that they don't feel within themselves. It used to come from people appreciating what they had to provide financially. But when these masculines met the feminine, she was another divine being like them. Usually feminines are empathic, they are very emotional, they are very they're like the star card in a tarot deck. They are very bright, they are the positive energy, the yin energy, all light and pureness, and they are a lot of the divine feminines are very detached from the materialistic world, and they are not they don't judge people based on their finances and based on their assets, and basically they don't put a price on people or put a dollar value on them based on what they have. A lot of divine feminines or feminines in the awakened feminines especially, they appreciate people's power, their intelligence, their hearts, what they have to offer emotionally and spiritually, and they don't care how much the masculine had in their pocket when they met. They didn't care. They just wanted his integrity and his respect and his love and his support, and that's what these masculines are not familiar with, because these masculines have lacked that awareness. They are not aware of their inner values. They're not aware of how much they really are worth without their bank accounts, without their cars, without their houses, without their jobs, without their paychecks. They're not aware of their inner potential. They're not aware of their skills and their core power, basically the power that comes from the heart, that comes from their intelligence, that comes from their divine spiritual soul. So that's why when the feminine and the masculine meet in the first place, after the first attraction runs for a little bit, the issues start coming to the surface on how different they are and how they're misaligned they are, because the masculine needs to get his validation by providing financially, but the feminine is not looking for that. She doesn't need his money. She needs his love and his compassion, and he doesn't have that. He doesn't feel that. He doesn't know where to get that from. A lot of these guys don't know where, and by guys I mean the masculine energy. It could be a female. A lot of them don't know where in their heart or where in their soul they have to reach to in order to get that love and compassion. They never learned it either at home as a child. So the feminine feels like she is not satisfied because she is not getting what she needs, and the masculine is not satisfied because what he has to give is not what makes her happy. So that's why and plus there's a lot of triggers that the counterparts create in each other. Some of them are from past lives, some of them are from this life. They could remind each other of failures, and that's why they pull apart, and it breaks apart. But once the feminine starts growing and starts awakening and go through her ascension, and throughout the separation, the feminine starts ascending first usually, and once she comes to her power, the masculine, who is still in connection with her, who still feels her energy, starts feeling a sense of intimidation. They start getting scared of her, and I think that in the beginning, the masculines are afraid of the feminine, because what they have, their colorful feathers and their high-end cars, or their, I don't know what they have, their houses or whatever they have to show off, is not affecting her, and she her power comes from somewhere else. Her light comes from somewhere else, and the masculine can't figure her out, and that scares him. But once the love sets in, and once she starts growing, and he sees her on her own feet, and surviving and glowing and growing in her life, whether personally, spiritually, financially, he starts feeling distance, and he starts feeling not only her physical absence, but her emotional absence, the absence of her energy, the absence of her it feels like she doesn't need him anymore, and it feels like she never needed him, and that is very triggering, and that is very intimidating for the masculines. And now, once this happens, like I said in the beginning of this talk, two things can happen depending on your situation, and depending on where your masculine is at. They could either get scared, and that would trigger them, and that would push them towards you, and it put them into the chase energy, and they could initiate contact, and when they do, you always nobody can never tell you what to do in any situation. You always trust your gut. You always trust your intuition, and your own guides, and your own voice, your inner voice. But watch out for any signs of ego, and fear is part of ego as well. Fear of loss. A lot of these people might feel that they are losing you, and that would push them forward prematurely, without them having gone through the full awakening process, without them having worked on themselves, without them having grown or matured, or or healed properly enough to be with you. And if you get back with your masculine energy, with your divine masculine, before he has finished his awakening process, before he has healed himself, you're going to trigger another cycle. You're going to fall into another toxic cycle. And even if he has done some work on himself until now, which I believe they have, at the least is that they have they're awakened to the connection. But if you give in prematurely, you're going to throw them back into the old cycles, and he will run again. And like I said, another group of them will get intimidated, and at the same time they would get insulted. They would take it as an insult. They would take it as like how dare she leaves me, she can't leave me. And it's like a stubborn energy. It's a very childish energy, and this is usually for the masculines that are more immature when it comes to their emotions. And even when you were together, they have been stubborn, and they have been egotistical, and they have been rigid, and they have been non-emotional, or they never told you that they cared. They never showed you that they cared, because love makes them feel vulnerable and weak. These masculines feel weakness, feel love as weakness. And in order to not feel that, in order to not feel intimidated or vulnerable towards this feeling of loss, or this feeling of distance, or the abandonment, they start walking the other way as also. So they satisfy themselves and their ego, telling themselves that in the competition of leaving, I am the winner, or in the competition of abandoning the connection, or putting an end to the connection, I am the one who is doing it, and I have the control. These people are very are control freaks. They want to have the last say. They want to have the last laugh. They want to have the upper hand. And I'm sure a lot of masculines fall into this category, especially masculines that have had a very successful past, and have had that bright, shiny image on the outside, and they were respected by their surroundings and their environment, and they were prayed to and like a god. They are like that. They still want to keep that facade, even if they are struggling financially, even if they are struggling emotionally, even if they have a lot of trouble and drama in their environment. They still want to keep that facade, because that facade is their identity. It's their safe haven. It's their comfort zone. They hide behind that mask. They wear that tough. It's like a crab shield. It's like a shield. They wear it to not feel the hurt. So they would start walking the other way. If they really truly feel your absence, it can throw them back into their karma. They might dig even deeper into their karmic relationships, into their karmic cycles. They might end up repeating a lot of these cycles, even if it is with new people. Even if they are not with the partners, they might start dating again. They might start focusing on something else, to the point that they throw themselves into a distraction, a source of distraction, whether it is trying hard to make money, or trying to get that validation from a love relationship. But I feel that because a lot of them are financially struggling, and their money is running low, and their stability is their tower is shaken, and their foundation is shaken. um, Even if they throw themselves into other connections, they're going to be very superficial and fake, and it's not going to be fulfilling. It's not going to be stable, because these people don't have much to offer. They have been looking outside of themselves for their happiness, for their stability. A lot of them have not even attempted at healing themselves. A lot of them haven't worked on themselves and haven't given love to themselves. A lot of them haven't even been alone long enough to think about what they need to do, or they haven't been alone long enough to feel that self-love, or to feel that self-care, or to give themselves that kind of care. They just throw themselves from one person to another, whether it's a mother, whether it's a sister, a partner, friends, co-workers, just any other person other than themselves, who would provide them with that sense of care and comfort. And for as long as they are doing that, they are stuck in karma, and they can't clear themselves out of these cycles. They just repeat these cycles every time, might be with a new people. But the lesson is the same. The lesson is that you don't get your happiness outside of yourself. You don't find happiness in other people's plates. Your happiness is from within. You have to look inside and look to see where your wounds are. Why do you feel pain? Why do you feel empty? Why are you attracting negativity to yourself? Why are you attracting poverty to yourself? Why would someone that is educated and or successful, or who has been successful before, why is it that you have been struggling so much? Where did you go wrong? What did you do wrong? What kind of decisions did you make that has put you here? And it is difficult for a lot of these masculines to think about these things, because it's hard and painful to look inside, because shadow work is one of the hardest things that people can do, because it's looking at the wound. It's like taking the band-aid off, the band-aid of other people's validations and attentions, and looking at the very fresh wound that's underneath it, and trying to heal it somehow. It could be very painful. It could be unpleasant. It's like opening a can of worms. Attempting at one wound to heal could bring out a lot of other crap that you have to look at and face. And either way, I think whether the masculine comes after you and wants to get to you, or whether they pull away and they fall back into their karma, either way, they need to go through the growing and through the awakening. It's something that the universe has unlocked for the feminines and the masculines, and it's inevitable. The longer they resist, the harder it becomes, and the more karma that they have to face with. I mentioned in my previous posts that for a lot of these masculines, karma has hit their finances, because karma usually hits you when it hurts most, to something that is most important to you. And these masculines, their money was their image, and their money was their world, and their money was the tool to get everything, whether they were providing for a family, whether it was their own wife and children, or parents and siblings. It was a tool to provide finances and get attention and validation and that emotional fulfillment in return. And that's why these masculines have stayed in codependent relationships. It's just like that. They got their validation and approval and a sense of worth from their environment instead of getting it from within. Most of these masculines are intimidated by the feminine energy because the feminine energy is independent, and she is someone that wants the masculine energy, that she doesn't need him. She doesn't need to manipulate him in order to get what she wants. She doesn't need to play him for what she wants. What she wants is love and attention, and she's giving exactly that in return. But that's not what the masculines are familiar with. A lot of these masculines don't recognize love. It's a lot easier for them to give and provide for someone who feeds their ego, who fans their flames, and who fulfills their need for being cherished and being validated and being encouraged, instead of someone that loves them truly and loves them for who they are. And that has been the case in our society for the longest time. People are usually attracted to those that fill their voids, not people that add to their plate. And that's why it is very important for all of us to fulfill our own needs before getting into a relationship with someone else, because the other person is not responsible for filling out the emptiness inside us. Two people need to both be full in order to pour into each other, because if one person is empty and the other person is pouring, it will get the other person empty, because there is no give and take anymore. It's just give and receive. I mean, there's no give and give anymore. There's no balance in the giving. There's just give and receive, and the receiving end gets filled with that love, and the giving end gets emptied, and that becomes toxic in time. So I feel that these are the energies that the masculine is currently dealing with: a sense of a lack of self-worth, an intimidation caused by the feminine energy coming into her power, and him feeling that he's losing the connection. And like I said, some of them fear that loss and come in to contact, and some of them want to be having an upper hand in that loss, and then they leave the connection, or they even create a distance, or wash their hands off of the connection and detach in order to prove that they are the one winning the game. And this whole thing is, for the masculine, is a game. A lot of them played mind games on the feminine. A lot of them were manipulative, and a lot of them were they were not honest with their feelings and their wants and likes, and now the reaction to the feminine coming into her power and detaching, it just proves that they need some more growing to do, because a healthy masculine energy, somebody who's awakening to the connection, even if they are intimidated or scared of a strong feminine energy, they would work on themselves. They would try to heal their own wounds. They would try to grow to her level and put themselves into alignment with someone who is powerful. But usually the masculines take the easy way out, and they just look beneath them and below them, to someone who's not as strong, to someone who is not as capable, to someone who is not to someone who is needy, who is clingy, who needs them and their money and their attention, so they can feel good about themselves. And but at the end, like I feel that's how a lot of these masculines have chosen their partners. They have gone after feminine energies that are toxic, that are needy, that are clingy, that are attached, that are codependent on them. And that way the masculine, he provides a little bit, and that feminine feeds his ego by appreciation and manipulating his emotions, and I don't know, providing sex or providing anything to make him feel good about himself. But because this source of making feel good, because of this source of happiness is external, eventually these relationships become boring, they become codependent, they become another burden on his plate, because the essence of these masculines is a strength, it's power, it's leadership. They can do more, and they know, and their soul knows that they're better than that they're better than the energies that they're putting themselves with. They're better than the environment that they're keeping themselves stuck in. They're better than the women that they date. They're better than the women that they sleep with. They're better than the family environment that they're chained to, and they know that they're deserving of a better life, and they know that they deserve love and an equal kind of relationship. But their ego is keeping them bound, and their ego keeps scaring them and wanting to trigger their controlling sense, and putting them into an environment that they can control, that they can have an upper hand, that they can look at their partners or their people from above, and not eye to eye, and not on an equal level. Because to the ego, even to our ego as feminines, equality is scary. To the ego, equality means you're vulnerable. It means you can't control the person in front of you. It means that the person in front of you is an independent, equal power. It's your match. It's somebody that has everything you got, or is a complement. It has everything that you don't have, so you gear together to complete each other. But to the soul, that's perfect. That's what the soul wants. But to the ego, that's a scary. You may not always have your say. You may not always get your way. The person in front of you also has their opinion. The person in front of you also has their choices to make. And especially if you're in love with that person, if you are vulnerable emotionally to that person, then to the ego, that can be hurtful. You might get heartbroken. What if that person leaves you? What if that person says no to you? What if that person doesn't validate what you're doing? What if that person, what if you fail that person? What if you can't provide for that person? And all these what ifs and all these doubts are put into the mind of the masculine in order to keep him away from an equal relationship that can fulfill his higher self, that can provide the love that he so wants. It's a constant battle between his soul and his ego when it comes to love and a sense of providing and protecting. But I feel that as the energies are right now and with the coming months, and if you as a feminine keep staying in your power and keep focusing on your own life and your own self-love, these masculines will eventually they will get on the right path. I feel that a lot of them right now might be focusing a lot on their finances. They might be trying to feel better about themselves by building up their foundation again, by finding a better job, putting their own business together, something that would give them that shiny mask again. And what I would say to these masculines is heal yourself. So you don't have burden inside you, so you don't have wounds inside you, so you come out of a healthy place when you're trying to manifest your abundance. So when you think of getting your own business together, or so you are making decisions about your finances, you come from a healthy place. You're not under the influence of family and friends. You're not caring about what other people have to say. You don't make your decisions based on other people's needs and suggestions and likes and dislikes. Because if you are keeping yourself stuck in your karmic situations, if you're not healed, if you get triggered, if you haven't done your shadow work, all you attract to yourself is more of that. All you attract to yourself is more karma, it's more negativity, it's more toxicity. And if you're working your ass off, if you're working night and day, if you're fretting about a job offer, if you're putting 1,000 resumes out there for another job that pays better, and you're not getting it, that's why. That's because you haven't done your shadow work. That's because you're coming from a toxic environment, because your energy is toxic. You're so afraid of poverty. You're afraid of going homeless. You're afraid of failing people around you. You're not coming from a position of or a place of self-love. You're not worrying about yourself. You're worrying about your image. You're worrying about people's judgments. You're worrying about whether you're accepted or not by your environment. You're worried about whether you can provide for your family and friends like you used to. But you're not worried about yourself. You're not worried about what you like to do, whether you enjoy what you do. To you, it's like a myth. A lot of you masculines, you're looking at your life as a job, as something that you have to live, and that's how it is. You're not looking at it as a gift. You're not looking at it as something that's given to you to grow in, to feel happy about. And because you're coming from that negative energy, that's why you're attracting more of it, unfortunately, guys. And your situation will hardly change. Even if you get another job, that would just be another cycle. Even if you get a higher income, it will just be that your expenses will also increase. There is no winning when it comes to karma. There is no winning when it comes to receiving the energy that you put out. Until you put out healthy energy into the universe, you will not get healthy energy in return. And money is energy. Abundance is energy. It's getting lucky. It's getting lucky with a job offer. It's getting lucky with an inheritance. It's getting lucky with something that somebody comes to you and offers to you that could open doors for you financially. It's all what we see as luck is really a return of it's an energy payback from the universe. So if you are working night and day, or scared about your financial situation, or afraid of going homeless, or you're trying everything in your power to get a job, or to get a better payment, or to pay your bills, or whatever, and it's shaking your foundation so hard and scaring you so much, just take a moment out and reflect and just think about where it is that you're coming from. why are you in this situation? Did you spend so much? Did you overgive? Did you put somebody else's needs and wants ahead of your own? Did you take life for granted? Did you take your job for granted? Did you put enough into your jobs? Did you just any reason that you may have for being where you are? And you might call this superstition, but some of your financial loss is also a result of your karma with other people, your decisions that you made towards other people, or what you did to someone in the past would be coming back to you as a financial loss right now. But in order to resolve this situation, in order to resolve your financial problems, you need to put yourself into a healthier energy, and you need to focus on yourself and your needs. A lot of you masculines are under the influence of other people, whether it's your partner, your parents, your siblings, your friends. You are constantly getting information from your environment, from people around you, on what you need to do. You're not living for yourself. You're a slave to your environment. They could come to you and say, "Oh, but why are you doing this? Your job pays better, or why don't you apply here? It has better benefits." Oh, well, who cares about whether you like your job or not? You just work 9 to 5, and then you can go after work and do whatever you like. And people can give you all kinds of advice on what to do, and why you should stay somewhere, or why you should leave somewhere, or where you need to go and what to do. But until you guys detach and disconnect from all these voices in your head, or all these voices in your environment, you need to do that in order to come to a sense of focus on yourself and on your need. What do you want? Where do you want to go? What do you want your life to look like in the next 5, 10, 20 years? What do you want to achieve? Every morning that you wake up, what kind of life do you want to live? Do you want to cry when you're going to work? Do you want a 9 to 5, or do you want to be your own boss? Do you want to be a leader in your job, or do you want to be a follower? Do you want to make your own money, or do you want to be paid by somebody else? And don't let anybody scare you, or don't let anybody decide what kind of life you need to live. We are all coming here as independent, free souls into this 3D body to experience our own life, to experience what's given to us, and to experience what we can bring for ourselves. And don't let other people just tell you all the time what's right and what's not. You are old enough, you're mature enough, your soul is capable of understanding what's right and what's wrong. Try to release yourself from your chains, even if it's for a day, even if it's for a week, even if it's for a month. Just give yourself enough time to love yourself, and to think of yourself, and to put yourself priority. And yourself, I mean your soul, your heart's desires, not your image, not the validation that comes with it, not satisfying your environment. Just think that if none of those people existed, if nobody existed in your life, what would you choose? Where would you go? And what kind of thing did you want to do with your life? Where did you want your money to come from? And what kind of resources would you keep? And all that. Just think of yourself and you only. And see what's best for you, because nobody can tell you what's good for you. People just look at what they can gain from you depending on where you're going. Like if somebody is encouraging you to, if somebody is dependent on you financially and they're encouraging you to stay in a higher paying job versus some job that satisfy you emotionally and mentally, they're thinking of themselves. They just want more money on their plate, or they just want their bills to be paid on time, right? And trust me, if you do something that you love, if you work in an environment that makes you happy, that keeps you upbeat, that doesn't have any burdens on you, any emotional or mental burdens on you, if you enjoy working with your coworkers, if you're in good relationship with your boss, if you wake up in the morning and you're happy to start your day, it will bring abundance to you. It will bring money to you. It will bring ideas to you that can make money for you. And all you need to do is believe that these things are not myths. They're not fairy tales. There are people out there that they just, ideas come to them in a blink of a second and they can make money on it. And you guys are capable. You're powerful. You have everything you need, and it's all inside you. It's not out there in any other person. Everything you need is in your heart. It's in your head. It's in your soul. And all you need to do is dig inside and reach it. Don't look outside for your validation and your happiness. Because the earlier and the faster you do this, the earlier and faster you can start reaping your rewards. And if any of you out there want to come to union with yourself and or with your feminine energies, she is on her way. She's going out there. She's going after her life. At some point, your energies might align, and you can attract each other back into your lives. Or if you don't want to be with each other, if that's not part of your contract, you will be at a higher vibrational energy to attract someone that's good for you, instead of someone that milks you and uses you and takes advantage of you, or someone that you take advantage of or use in order to fill your emptiness. Okay, guys, so that's it for now. I hope that regardless of whether the masculines pull away or start chasing, I hope that this process initiates some maturing and growing in them, and puts them in alignment with the abundance that they truly deserve. And for you feminines, keep doing what you're doing. You're doing good, and I'm sure that the masculines, whether they're intimidated or what, they would be proud of you if they're your true counterpart. Okay, take care, and I'll talk to you next time.